Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another Fast Descendant video. So a slightly different video. This time I wanted to go over some of the bugs in the game and I have some suggestions related to the UI and the UX. Some of these things I've noticed myself and some are from the comments of the viewers. And these are nothing major. These are the things that you would see towards the end of the patch notes in the bug fixes and the UI UX changes. So I'm hoping this reaches the devs and they can sort out some of these things because a few of these things have been in the game for a while and I think they can be fixed very easily. This is nothing related to like improving the gameplay. I'm not asking for end game content. I'm just asking for minor fixes here and there. And I'm sure they may have overlooked some of these things. So I don't think this will be difficult. Also, if you have any of your own suggestions related to bugs and things, mention them below because yeah, I would like to see some of these fixed. Now, before I go into the bugs and other things, I just wanted to go over some of the mods that don't seem to drop. So, for example, we have this infection amplifier for Frena. Now, this was added in January. This drops from the Axion commanders from Forbidden Sanctuary, has a 5% chance in Forbidden Sanctuary, and also by combining your duplicates. So I've seen a lot of people comment about this mod in particular that it doesn't seem to drop for them. So I made this video for Frena going over this module, and I must have 10 or 20 comments under there from people who have said they have run the Forbidden Sanctuary, they play the Axion planes, but this mod just doesn't drop. So they need to look into this, whether it's an issue, something specific with this module, or if it's something where they need to fix the RNG. I think these modules here, there shouldn't be RNG with this. They should drop 100% of the time from certain missions because we can't trade them. These are not like the trigger modules or ancestors modules where we could trade them or something. So yeah, why make it difficult to get these? So yeah, so they need to simplify this. And there are also certain modules for the swords in the Void Vessel, the second Void Vessel, that are a pain to get. For example, if you see the melee weapons and some of these things like fire priority, electric priority, these were a pain even when we were trying to combine them because there are so many modules in the game. When you combine them, you can get a random purple mod and that doesn't help at all. So they need to sort out the RNG with some of these, like either make them very easy to get or add more places where they drop or something like that, because I've seen enough comments about this to know how bad this is. Besides this, related to the RNG, the items that drop in the Axion planes, the actual missions in the Axion planes, the Force Crater and those places. So you have things like the two vehicles, the Orca and the Vortex, you have the Husky, you have Nell, you have Ultimate Luna. These ones, when they changed the old PT system and added the loot box A and B, that has created a lot of unnecessary RNG, in my opinion, and becomes very difficult to target farm them. So they need to sort it out. They have sorted the newer Descendants. For example, with Dia, I think it's a brilliant idea where they have the end game dungeon where you run the underwater base to get the Dia parts, but you can also run the Sigma sector to get the Dia blueprints. I think that's a brilliant move. And they need to do more of that. They are doing that with the newer stuff, like the new swords, the crime and punishment. They have the same thing with that one. The Void Vessel, the first Void Vessel, and then the new dungeon. You can get it from those places. But yeah, these middle ones, the ones in the action place, they need to overhaul this so that it's easier. I saw a comment from someone who said that they have kind of given up on the Husky because it just wouldn't drop. I remember myself when I was trying to get the Vortex, it took me 2 weeks to get the Vortex, and I play daily. And I was still having a lot of issues. I actually ended up getting it from the login event where they had a box that was giving the missing blueprints. So yeah, so they need to overhaul this section of the map, I think. Others are okay, but the middle section here in the Axion planes, they need to overhaul this. All right, so I have a few things regarding the cutscenes. So first up, we have Serena over here. As you know, with Serena, we have this section here, the show unique cosmetics. This is only for Serena, Harris, Sharon, Jaber, I think. If there's anybody else, let me know. But basically, if you have this checked, you'll have her wings visible all the time. If you hide it, they are hidden. Now, when Serena first came out, her wings used to be visible all the time. And once in the Q&A, somebody said, we kind of want to hide her wings when we are not in a mission or when we are not running a dungeon. So they ended up hiding it everywhere. And then some people said, no, wings are Serena's unique thing, so we should be able to see them. So they added this toggle feature. Now this on paper is good. However, this toggle doesn't work in the cutscene. So as you can see right now, the wings are hidden. I have hidden the wings. But if I go into the cutscene here, you will notice the wings are back. You can see she has the wings back. So the toggle doesn't work. Whether it's checked on or off, the wings always pop up in the cutscenes. And sometimes it just looks weird. When there is like a cutscene with a bike in the Axion place, for example, the wings are just a bit unusual looking. So yeah, so they can look into this. I know maybe a lot of people are not looking into cutscenes because once you see the story, you don't really have a reason to go back. But yeah, this is a minor thing they need to fix. Notice the wings here. And also the other thing is the subtitles. It's almost 2 years and we still don't have an option to hide the subtitles. So this is nothing major. Most games have this. And so I'm a little surprised that we don't have a simple way of hiding the subtitles. So also, by the way, they have a video on the YouTube channel, on their channel, where they have all these cutscenes. And there is no subtitle in that one. So it is something they can hide. It's not hard-coded or anything. This is something that just needs a setting somewhere that can hide the subtitles. So basically, somewhere in the options, in let's say the audio section under here, subtitles on off. That's how easy it should be because yeah, it's about time we have this basic feature in the game. All right, so I'm here in the shelter in Vespers, and this is one of the arcade traces where you can view the cutscenes. This is the one with Jeremy. Okay, so let me run this and you'll see what I mean. So notice here this texture at the bottom is missing. We have this checkered thing here. Once again, in front of Serena, you can see there's like a box. And so the texture is missing or something, because I've noticed only in this one. I've seen a few cutscenes. The others work fine. And speaking of cutscenes, at this point, does anybody remember where all the cutscenes are? Because there's one main one in Albion. There's one in Axion. There's this one here in Shelter. I think there's one or two others. One in Mystery's End. One where we go and rescue Haley. Few others scattered all over the place. So yeah, so they need to make them easily visible so that, let's say you want to catch up to the story and you have like a playlist where you can see all the cutscenes in sequence. There's also a couple in Sigma Sector, I just remembered, with Daya. So yeah, so at this point, I don't even remember where all the cutscenes are, how many there are in total. But if they had a place where we can watch all the cutscenes one by one in the journals or somewhere, so we can just catch up to the story, have a idea of the lore or something like that. It'll just make life easier. So yeah, so that's also something they need to consider. All right, now let's talk about the HUD in this game. So the HUD and the display gets cluttered quite a lot. Right now we are not in a mission, so it's not as bad. But when we are in a mission, we have enemies, we have the skills and the elements and the toxins, and then the status is popping up. It just gets too crowded. So they can simplify this. At the moment, what they have is if you press your escape button, you can hide battle UI, and this hides everything. This is good, but I want something in between as well, like a partial thing. So for example, on the bottom where you have all the buttons telling you about the escape menu, change, tracking, map, things like that, I can hide that. I know all of that at this point. So I don't want to see that anymore. There should be like something to disable certain things. Then we have our skills. So we have the main 4 skills, the passive, we have the recycle for the dog, the melee, the grapple, and the bike. If we can resize that, make it a little smaller, bring it to the bottom left, that'll just clean up the middle section of the map. Then we have the ammo count as well as the health and the shields. I would like to move that over on the right, just above the weapons, so that the middle section is cleaner and it's a bit easier to see where we are going. I'm okay with the map on the top left. The 3 symbols on the top right, okay, those are pretty good as well. They don't take up much. And similarly, the statuses when you're fighting the enemies, they could sort of line them up towards the left of the screen. So again, basically I want the middle part of the screen to be clean so that it's easier. And a lot of games have this option. Diablo 4 has this option. And a lot of smaller games have these options as well. I was playing this game, I forgot the name of it. Mandragora. If you see, it's an indie game. It's a very nice 2D Souls-like game. they had this option where you could actually take your skills and the map and things, and you can move it to the top right, keep it on the bottom left, make it smaller, bigger, that sort of thing, just to make your life a little easier. So I think this is something that they should look into. I've also mentioned this previously in a video, but I don't know if many other people have said this or if this is something that is not on their priority. But yeah, this would just clean things up a little bit. All right, next up, I think I have a couple of minor things that shouldn't be much of an issue to implement. So for example, here in the inventory screen, I want an option where we can hide all of this and just have a clean, clear inventory screen like they have for this one here, this option here for the inventory screen, so that we can just take some nice screenshots of your Descendant standing with the weapon alongside the doggo. Because a lot of us, YouTubers especially, we use this sort of thing as a thumbnail. So to just make life easier. At the moment, what a lot of us are doing is, if you switch between the tabs here, there's a brief, like a split second where everything cleans up. So I don't know if you can spot it here. If I do this, or if I do this, you see like the things disappear on the side. And there's a brief moment where you can, if you, record it at a high FPS and just take a screenshot at the right moment, you can get a clear HUD. So yeah, so that is something I would like here as well. Now, similar to the inventory screen, I would also like to see an option to hide these things here on the main menu screen. And this is again a nice sort of background to the game. We have the doggo sitting here, we have the bike, we have the Descendant. Also, regarding the Descendant and their animations when they're sitting here, I don't know if anybody remembers, but early on when the game first came out, or maybe when it was in the beta, I think Glay had a slightly different animation where she used to take out her glasses and look at them and then put them back on, something like that. So I think they may have, dropped that animation because now there are head skins without the glasses and it would look weird. But they could maybe have an option where, for example, right now I have a head skin with the glasses, so they can activate that as well. Just minor little things that I don't think will take up too much of development time. And finally, a couple of suggestions for ETA-0. Now, as you know, with ETA-0, we soon sell our extra blueprints, and we are sitting here with hundreds of things that we are never going to use. For example, once you get a Descendant or an Ultimate Descendant, all these are useless for us. So either increase the 600 to like 1500 or something so that we can sell more of these things, or maybe drop the value of this. So for example, this Ultimate Ajax code is 15 vouchers, make it like 1 or 2 so that we can sell them. Maybe even give us an option to trade them with other players. I'll happily give this away for free to any new players coming to the game. Besides this, they could also give us an option to trade them for useful resources. So for example, superconductive cooling, or maybe right now the most important thing that we farm is the crystallization catalyst. So let me trade my Ultimate Ajax code for 10 of these advanced neural circuits, or 15 of them, or 18 of them, whatever number, so that the things that are just sitting there have no purpose. I can trade them for useful things and have just start with like the crystallization catalyst, then maybe add the energy activator, dimension analyzer, just useful things that I can trade with the parts that are not getting any use. Similarly, somebody suggested that with ETA-0, they could have like daily resets for certain items. Let's say the useful resources, for example, with the green vouchers, we have the gold and the Kuiper and things like that. Just give us an option where these things reset all the time, because right now we have the monthly setup where when we get a new Colossus, these things reset and then we can buy them again. But look at me, I've already cleaned up all of this. And so there's nothing I can do. Like every week I use 750 of these to get the Ancestors module. That is the only thing that resets at the weekend. Everything else I've already cleaned up. So yeah, so something to do with ETA as well. A slight overhaul to ETA is needed in my opinion. And yeah, that is basically it. Those are my suggestions. I know some of these things are not that important. A lot of people will say we need more important things. But yeah, these are minor things that shouldn't take up too much time either, in my opinion. For example, right now you see the things on the bottom. Just an option to hide them. Give me an option in the main options where I can hide certain elements of the UI so that I can, have a cleaner look to the game. So yeah, so these are some of my suggestions. If you have any, let me know as well. Anyway, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. See you next time.